everybody, how's it going? Rick back here live for another session of Sidetrack Sunday. Let's go ahead and get the banner rolling here. Get my comments going so I can see what all you guys are chatting about. I got my main man with me over here. Jerry's going to help me moderate and keep an eye on the chat, as always. You know, Jerry, it always seems like every Sidetrack Sunday that I've done so far, it's been some sort of demonstration that I always needed your help for, man. I appreciate you always being there for me.
Sure, no problem, man. You got nothing to do.
Yeah, actually, the only one that we didn't do was the first one that I screwed up. That the internet went bad, and we just sat here and chatted for a while. Crazy stuff. Yeah, it turned out well. So I got no complaints. So tonight I'm going to do a follow up to my last live. Which was when I got all my airbrush stuff. So I have been patiently waiting. I got all this stuff unboxed, and I haven't done anything with it. I haven't touched it. I promise you that, because I wanted to do this live. I wanted to do this from a perspective of, a novice. So rather than spending the last 2 weeks practicing, I just left it be, and I've been dying to get into this. So I'm dying to fire up the airbrush and get it going. For some reason, I'm not seeing comments over here on the side, and I don't know why.
On the YouTube side?
Yeah. Comments.
Like, I know for me, sometimes comments lately have been not working right. They're not keeping up sometimes.
Yeah.
And even videos, like I'm watching videos and the comments won't load sometimes on videos.
That's very strange.
Just this weekend it's been happening. In fact, really. Yeah, I don't know. Something must be going on with YouTube, I guess.
It says YouTube does not support comments on private. I think I know what it is.
I just popped the YouTube chat. Steve, you had a problem with not seeing comments, or your chat being not current?
I think I figured it out. Give me just a second. I'm going to try and see if I can fix it on my side. I think what I did was when I set it up, when I set this stream up, I originally set it up yesterday, and I marked it as private. Yeah, here we go. Let me see if it'll allow me to change it. But then I changed it to public in YouTube. An error occurred. Wait a minute. I'm going to try again. I think it's because it's, yeah, I think I screwed it up. So for YouTube, it's a public video. For StreamYard, it is not. And that's why it's not allowing me to see your comments, which means I'm not going to be able to highlight them. That stinks. Let's see.
Can't help you.
Yeah. And it won't let me change it either because the stream already started. And then if I end it, then we all got to come back again. So I'm just going to leave it for now. My screw up, lesson learned.
I think you'll be busy painting.
That's true. That's true. So speaking of painting, let's let's jump over here to my workbench. As you guys saw in my my intro video. Hey, there I am. I'm in the top right-hand corner. All right, that's working. Jerry, you mind if I make you small, or do you want me to send you away?
Doesn't matter. Either one.
Well, let's try this. We'll go here for a little bit. So guys, this is my workbench. This used to be a bar at one point, and then I actually moved it all out, and this is where I had my desk for a little bit, and then I moved the desk, and now we're back to the bar that I'm now using as my workbench. So I've got all my stuff set up over here. My paints are over here in the corner. The laptop won't usually be here. I just have it here for the live stream. But I've got my mats down here, and then over in the corner here, I've got some stuff to hold my little bits and bobs and my compressors up there on the counter. And this is where we're gonna have some fun tonight. We're gonna take a look at what's in the box.
What's in the
Any
box?
idea what it might be? Want to take a guess? So if you remember from the last stream, when I had everybody up on panel, the one thing that everybody mentioned was, Rick, don't go and build your own spray booth. So I was actually trying, and I was contemplating it for a while, and I was going to do it, and then I ran out of time because here we are. So in the interim, thanks to our good buddies over at Amazon, I went and got one. So it's that's what's in the box. And
that's what's in the box.
With the magic of the camera and just me being lazy, I've actually already opened it. So we'll get rid of the box. I'm actually going to get rid of my pad as well because I don't need that. This is it, ladies and gentlemen. This is what you've seen out there on the internet. Many people have these. Many of them, many people use these, and now I have one. I'm not sure if I will use it all the time. I do have an idea of what I would like to use as a spray booth, and one day I'm hoping that with Jerry's help, I can do that. The idea that I came up with is, do you guys remember way back in the day, people used to have secretaries in their houses. Those were those things that usually sat either like in an office or often like a dining room somewhere in a corner, and it had a couple drawers to it, and it had this really nice fold down desk that had dividers in it. So my plan was I was going to try and find one of these things on the internet somewhere at a really good price, and I was going to tear out the inside of that secretary, put a couple holes in it, and see if Jerry can help me turn that into a spray booth. Again, that's still in my mind. It's something that I still want to do, but not something that I could get together for this broadcast. So I'll keep that for maybe another show, maybe another live show, maybe a video down the road. It is still an option. But for right now, this guy is here, and this is what I'm going to use. Don't know if I'm going to need it all the time. I've heard many, many things about spray booths and why you should use them, and reasons why you don't have to use them. Some people have said, now I plan on using mostly just acrylic paints, which of course the paint's being atomized as it comes out of your gun. So it's probably not the best thing to breathe in, especially if you're in a non-ventilated area. But if you're wearing a mask, you shouldn't have that problem. But the downside to that is what you're spraying, especially in a small space like this, that spray is going to go somewhere. So that's what this is going to try and capture for me. It's for that overspray. So let's go ahead and get this thing set up, and we'll turn it on. We'll take a look at it and show you all about it. Unfortunately, I did not think to include a link to this in the description below. I will do it after the stream, though, so that you guys can check it out. Again, I got it on Amazon. It was $129, I think. The thing that I liked about this particular model is it came with the LEDs inside, which I'll show you how to hook up and we'll get it going. There are other models out there that are cheaper, but they don't come with the LEDs, or some of them don't come with the little, you'll see there's a little turntable inside. We'll get that going too. So one of the good things that I like about this is it's compact. I mean, look at this. You can almost take this anywhere. The only thing that is not in here are the tubes that go on the back of here that you connect to your outside window to vent that spray out. I do have a window right up there that I will probably vent this to, but for right now, I'm not going to go through the trouble and actually do that. Over here on the side, there's a little door, and it holds power cord. Pretty cool storage there. Everything else, believe it or not, is on the inside.
So a couple things. Steve87 said, don't listen to your mind.
Don't listen to my mind. Well,
yeah,
my mind...
when you wanted to build a booth yourself. And, Brian Page is saying that's why he keeps his pressure low, and I asked him, what do you mean by that? So what do you mean by that, Brian? Share that with us.
I think he means the actual pressure on the compressor. Right. The less pressure you have, I'm guessing the less overspray you're going to have because it's not coming out as forceful.
Right.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get this guy cracked open.
So how much was this thing, Rick?
It was $129, and
that's a pretty good deal.
Yeah. At first, I was kind of like, how much am I actually going to use this? I was questioning whether I really wanted it. The whole idea of the booth that I want you and I to work on is the fact that it's got storage underneath. If it's got 2 or 3 drawers underneath, I can put all my supplies. I can even keep a drawer for the compressor so it's not so loud. I can work with you on getting some of those holders to hold all the paints within the drawers. There's tons of ideas that I have for this thing, and
it's a great storage thing.
Yeah, and the fact that the top folds down gives you a whole wide workspace. Yeah. To take care of that overspray, and I wanted to cut a hole in the back of it to hook up those same tubes. So, like I said, in the future, if I do plan to go that route, I might just take the tubes from this thing and use it for that, and keep this as like a secondary, spray booth for, I don't know, maybe something else, maybe enamel paints or aerosol paints or something of that sort. But we'll see how it goes. All right, so this thing lifts up. This is actually the lid that it's gonna go over your workspace, and this thing here folds out. And this is your actual workspace. And to set this up, you're going to do sides here. Here's one side. Da-da-da. Here's the other side. Real simple to set up. And then this top part here, there's some slats up here in the top, and they just click right into the top. And look how easy it is. Within seconds, you're set up and ready to go to spray. The only downside that I see to this thing that I'm not sure I like, these 2 panels here, this front and side panel, they're separate. and that's for space because it's got to fold up.
Right.
But when you put this thing together, even though you click these together, I mean it's plastic. There's a space between here that you can see from the inside, and I can just see stuff going through there.
You can tape it.
I don't know. Maybe it'll close. Yeah, I guess I could.
Some blue tape.
Again, in the fairness of being portable, if I ever wanted to, I don't know, bring this down to your shop to do something, I don't want to have to carry tape with me too. So
I got tape.
Yeah.
You figure something out. I'll show you.
Yeah. Here's that little turntable they give you.
It's nice. I've seen them even just sell for $10.
Yeah. I think this is 7 inches.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can keep that right here. It's got rubber feet on the bottom, so it doesn't move. I'm pretty sure.
I thought I've seen them like on Micro Mart for like $300 or something. That's
these things, yeah.
Like the spray booth, I'm like, no way, $400, $300? No.
Yep. Depending, yeah.
I'll take a chance on blowing up.
All right, so up here on the top, I'm sorry, I'm going to get in your way for a minute here. Up here on the top, this is where that power cord is that I plugged in earlier. This is where that goes. Right in there. Stick that in there.
So there's Steve 87 is saying the gap don't matter if you spray it right. Like inside the box. You're not spraying from the pitcher's mill. You're not spraying from like 5 feet back.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. So when I'm guessing, now I just put this here just to show, but I'm guessing when you're spraying, you're going to be somewhat in here. So there shouldn't be that much overspray. And I can't imagine, I mean, this thing has enough room. I believe this is 16.5 inches wide. Right. So you've got enough room for, even your longest locomotive. What I can probably see myself doing most would be my buildings. When I start doing scenery in the buildings, having a side of a building, in my hand, or even propped up on something, and that's probably what I'll be spraying most. So
just real quick, Steve Childers says the fan creates a negative pressure, so the air will come through the side cracks, not out. So I guess that makes sense too. Oh, you see how it works, right?
That does make sense.
You got to draw air somewhere.
Right. And that fan is powerful. I mean, you'll be able to hear it, and you feel the pressure just having your hand here. You definitely feel it. So these are the lights that come with it. I don't know if you can see it, but very much like the plug that you plug this thing in with, there are 2 plugs on the top corners up here that these things plug into. If you notice, there's that same, see that? That's the same little plug right there. So all you're going to do is take this thing and clip the top of this onto here, and then you find that little hole back there, and that just clicks right in place. Make sure you push it in, and it holds on just like that.
Yeah, man, you got to put the link to that box in the description of this video.
Definitely will. And, of course, we've got one for the other side, right? So we're going to plug this one in, right? Over here. And we're in. And now we've got this one for the front. And, again, this one has those same plugs. Woo, come on, get in camera. Right there. And there's one on the other side. And I'm not sure if you could see it, but right up front here, there's a hole there and there's a hole there. And this thing just clips right into place.
Right.
If I don't drop it first. Come on. I think I got it backwards. No, I had it right. There's one side. And there's the other. Come on, baby. There we go. All right, and that's it. That's the whole setup, just like that. And then back here, these are your filters. There's actually 2 of them in here. And I'm pretty sure you could probably pick these up at like your home center, or you could get it from the manufacturer itself. But there's a blue one that goes on the front, and then there's just a plain white one on the back. Now, I did do something unheard of. I read the instructions. And the one thing that actually caught my attention was in the instructions, it said when you're using the spray booth as it is, without the tubes, use 2 filters. But if you're going to attach the tubes and have it vent out somewhere, remove 1.
Oh, those tubes.
Yes.
Like black, like vacuum type tubes?
Yeah. Actually, I left those. I didn't pull them out. But they did come in the box. I did. And that was one of the other things that I liked about this particular one that I got, because it came with the tubes in the back. The one from Micromark, you got to buy those separate. And even with the discounts that we have with, all of our different guys that have all the promotions, it was cheaper to go this route. So you've got this here is the part that goes outside your window,
right? And
then flex tube, and then the 2 connectors that go to the back of your unit. So this is all included. Again, I didn't bother setting it up. I didn't even plan on taking it out of the box. But
that's a really good bargain, man. Wow.
I thought so.
You get a lot for your money there.
Yep. All right. So let me get this filter back in place, and then what I'll do is I'll kill the lights, and we'll turn it on so that you guys can hear it and see how much light it actually puts out, and then we'll get spraying. All right. So I've got. Hang on a second. I've got 4 lights here. One's behind me. Give me a second. There's one. Got another one here. There's 2. Got another one here. There's 3. It's getting darker over here. All right, here's the last light. We're going to kill this one, and it's going to go to darkness, and I'll fire this thing on. Woo! So the only thing you can see right now is the glow from my laptop. So if I turn this on, sounds like an airplane starting up. You can feel, I'm a good 6 inches. I'm a good 6 inches away, and you can feel the suction. And
it's like a little vacuum cleaner.
It does, and it's definitely cooler inside the box than it is out here. Like, you can definitely feel there's like an atmosphere change. If I'm going to kill that for a minute because you guys probably can't hear me over it. If there's one drawback that I can see with this that I think I would make the modification to change, I don't like that the lights are connected to the same power source, and you can only turn the lights on when you turn
the system on.
So I think what I'm going to end up doing, I'm going to probably I'm going to go in here somewhere and see if I can find that lead that goes to that switch, and I'm going to add another switch so that I can have the lights come on and not have to always have that fan on. Because honestly, if you just wanted to, take something and look at it under a good light, you don't always need the fan on.
Right.
If I'm sitting here painting something with a brush, I need the light, but I don't necessarily need the fan.
Yeah.
So I think that's one modification that I'll probably make. I'll definitely film it and show you guys. So let's get to painting. I've been dying to paint, man. We're 30 minutes into the show and I still haven't painted yet.
Get the going, man.
I got everything set up over here. I'm gonna go ahead and kick on the compressor. Really, really quiet. Really quiet. And if you notice, I've got on my compressor, I went and bought this little splitter here. It looks like a T, like a cross, so that I can have multiple lines hooked up to it. And then I've got my two airbrushes that I bought. I've got the gravity fed one here, and I've got the siphon one here. So we're going to try both and see which one I think, from a novice point of view, is better. Or maybe not better, but which one I feel more comfortable with. How does that sound? So the only prep work that I've done so far is on all the joints coming out of the compressor into the splitter and even onto the gun. I have some Teflon tape, plumber's tape. This is really thin stuff. You use it on pipes a lot, copper pipes. I wrapped all those threads with this stuff, so we got an airtight seal. And guess what? It's not an airtight seal. I have a question for everybody in chat. Anybody who's got one of these compressors. Here's my question. I noticed, and you'll hear it in a second, I'm not touching anything. I'll keep my hands right here on the table. In a couple seconds, you're going to hear the compressor kick on real quick and then turn back off. That's telling me that there's a leak. Is that normal or not? Now, here's the keep an eye on chat, Jerry, because remember, I can't see it. Here's what I've done. As I mentioned, I've got the Teflon tape on every single joint on here. So I went back to basics. I took the guns off. I took the cables off. I took the cables off of here. And I started with just the T, and I closed all the valves. And I started the machine. The machine filled up, and it stopped.
So here's the thing. I got 3 people. Steve Childers says, how long between start and stop cycles? Dwight says it has a leak. Dave P said that's normal. And Brian Page says if it has a petcock on the tank, is it tight? Digger says it's normal.
Okay.
Tom says pressure is reached. What's your regulator set at?
The regulator right now says 20.
Okay.
All right. So now you heard me. There it is. Right there. So I don't know what the timing is, but you guys remember when I turned it on and I said, listen how quiet that is up until just 10 seconds ago. So in that span of time, what was that? Maybe 2 minutes, 3 minutes. I've never timed it, so I'm not sure, but it just goes burnt and that's it. So again, I don't know if that's normal. If it's not, and the funny thing is, like I said, I took all the extras off. I took the guns off. I took the hoses off, and I went all the way down to the T-bar, and I made sure all the valves were closed and turned it on. And of course, it comes up to pressure. Not that much pressure in there because it's only pressurizing the T. And I let it sit, and it still does it.
So here's a couple things. Some people are saying it's normal. Bernard says spray some soapy water on the fittings to see if you have any leaks. When you have a tank compressor, there's always going to be an occasional compressor top off. That's what Brian says. All air bleeds out of those little compressors, even big ones, air leaks out.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I think everybody's just saying that's normal.
Gotcha. So just to make sure that it wasn't the valve, what I did is I took, or not the valve, the splitter. Just to make sure it wasn't the splitter, I took the splitter back off and I hooked up a hose and I hooked it up to a gun and just let it sit here, and it does the same thing. So I know it's not the splitter. I know it's not my hose, and I know it's not my gun. So that leads me to believe that the problem is from here to here, and that's the compressor.
Right.
So, again, I don't know, being that it's brand new, I mean, I really haven't sprayed anything yet. So I'm wondering if I should contact the company. Should I send it back? Is it normal? I did wind up finding out from my wife because I wanted to share the link with you guys. I mean, it was $100. I mean, not to say that that's overly expensive, but it's still $100. When you spend $100, you want to do it right? You want to make sure that you got all your, your money's worth out of it, right? So, all right, I'll let it be for now. Keep an eye on the chat. Let me know if anybody says anything else about it, and we'll go from there.
Order another one. If it leaks, if it does the same, then and just send one back.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, I guess there it goes again. So I don't know.
I'll see what happens.
All right, so let's get the spraying. So I think I'm going to get rid of the turntable for now because I don't need that. So I'm just going to slide that to the side.
So Ron Bryce is saying it's normal.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's what everybody.
I know he's a big sprayer.
Digger's saying the same thing. Brian's saying the same thing.
All right. Those three guys are, I'm not going to say they're the top. They're the ones that I see spraying the most.
Yeah. Steve says, shut up and paint. Not really what he said.
All right. So I remember from the last stream, Steve 87 said, start with some dark paint. So I'm going to get a paper towel here. I'm going to grab, I got all my paints over here set up in that little holder that I got from a very good friend of mine. Where is, you know what? I'm going to need, guess what I didn't grab? Oh, yes, I did. Never mind. All right. I'm going to get my jars out of here because I'm going to need something to mix in. Actually, I guess I could have used the one that's already attached to the siphon. That really didn't make a difference. Where is my, is it black? Black. All right, we'll go black. Start with black. Come back over here. All right. I remember I was told with acrylic paints you're going to have to go really, 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 really thin. So I'm just going to do two. Actually, I probably should shake this up first. All right. I'm going to go 2 drops of black. I will do 3 for good measure. There's 3 drops of black. It's not much. You got it in there? Oh, you're going to get the glare.
We say it.
A couple. All right. So, and then we're going to do some water. Now, I'm not sure how much water I need. So we'll start with, how about that? Is that enough? Steve, a little more? A little less? You tell me. Let's shake it up and see what it looks like. I remember Vinny had mentioned it's got to look like milk, right? So let's give it a shake, get it mixed up. All right, so that's what it looks like mixed. If I give it a shake, it kind of coats the jar a little bit. Should be thicker, not thicker.
Dwight wants to know why you're using water.
Well, it's acrylic paint. I was told to use water.
Consistency of skim milk, John said.
Yep. Skim. I think that's skim milk. Here we go. Ready? Do a little shake.
Brian says his looks like 1% lactose free.
That's awesome.
Brian says to use thinner. Thinner even on like acrylic paints. Don't use water.
Don't use water. Okay, so I can imagine that I can understand the water because it's probably not the best thing for the gun. I actually went out this weekend and I went to several stores. I went to Michael's, I went to Walmart, and I went to Joann's Fabrics and Crafts. And
guys are saying acrylic thinners, not water.
All right. So I could not find a paint thinner for airbrushing. I also could not find a primer paint in airbrushing. And this was at all three stores. I was surprised.
You have to go to that hobby shop I told you about.
The one over in Jersey?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a feeling I'm going to have to. Yeah. So the only other alternative that I have instead of water would be 91% alcohol. Where are we at? Over there. That's the only other thing.
Hobby Lobby, you can get testers Aztec.
Oh, here was the other thing that I found. So I was able to find primers on Amazon. But the primer, I looked at two different manufacturers of primers, and both of them said, do not purchase the product and have it shipped in a cold environment. If the product comes to close to freezing temperature, right, it's going to change the consistency of the paint and it will not revert back, and it's basically useless.
Right, yeah. Brian Page says don't use alcohol.
Don't use alcohol. Okay. So
don't use water either.
Don't use water either. All right. So Brian, here's the question. This is all I have for tonight. So it's either one of these or we don't paint. So if you could pick between the two, which would it be?
So Digger's saying that water doesn't carry the pigment very well.
Okay.
I get, yeah. So I guess I don't know nothing. So, but does the alcohol? Don't use the alcohol. It splits the paint. Water, then, Brian says.
All right, water it is. Put that back. I mean, again, I'm only testing. I'm only learning. So I will get some good thinner. I promise you. For tonight,
Steve 87 says you're using crappy paint, so water's fine.
There you go. And I'm only testing. It's not like I'm not spraying a building or a locomotive or anything. I'm spraying paper towels.
Paper towels.
So let's see how it goes. All right. I'm going to start with, since I didn't mix a lot, I'm going to start with the gravity-fed one and see how that is. So you put the top.
So the guys are saying like alcohol will dry the paint before you spray it, which kind of makes sense. So it won't atomize probably very well.
Okay. I dropped the lid. Hang on. And now I dropped my brush. Thankfully, there was no paint in there. Only on STS.
I'm reading chat, Heath.
All right. Who are you talking to? Heath?
Yeah, Heath wants to know if anybody's reading chat. He says, I'm reading chat.
Yeah. Heath, you want to come up here and read chat for me? We can do that too. All right. Here we go. So we're just going to pour in a little bit, a lot bit. I'm going to go halfway. Actually, look at that. Halfway is the entire bottle. Or what I mixed. So there we go. That. I'm going to put the lid back on because Lord knows if I don't, bad things will happen. There we go. Nice and solid. Air tank's kicking off again. Spin this around. I got a kink in my hose. Okay. So air first, down and then back, if I remember correctly. Right? I should have put the camera on the other side because you guys can't see what I'm doing. You can't see what I'm doing. All right, so down gets me air. Now, it's set at 20, and when I push the thing, it doesn't move much, actually. It carries the pressure almost exactly. Maybe it moves 1 or 2. It goes down to like 18 maybe. All right, so does Brian, John, or Ron say 20 is okay? Should I stick at 20, go a little higher? What should we start at here? I'm going to start at 20 because I got to get some paint on this paper towel right now. So I'm going to stay here, but let me know, guys. Pump it up, push it down. Here we go.
So Steve says, turn the fan on. Brian says, practice pulling the trigger back until just where the paint starts coming out.
All right. Turn fan on.
Brian says, with the water, use 20.
With the water, use 20. Can you still hear me all right, Jerry, or is this thing drowning me out?
It's a little loud, but that's okay.
All right, so got some air going. Now, I noticed with this thing, you don't have. It feels like there's only one option to get like air. Like you push down and you get air. It's not like you push down and like the air comes out. I'm not explaining that right. You know how when you pull back the lever, everyone says the more you pull back, the more paint you get. I don't feel that with air. With the button going down, it's like you got air or you don't have air. It's either one or the other. There's no like in the middle.
Yeah.
That makes sense? All right, let's go. Let's paint something. All right, so we got air. Oh, that's a weird feeling. All right, so we got a little bit of paint. Let's do some lines.
Digger wants to know if your wife knows you're doing this.
Yeah, yes, she knows. Sure, she knows. She bought the thing.
Steve Childers says that's because the button does not regulate.
Okay. This is cool. I think I'm going to like this. All right, so I'm going to go, Jerry, that's actually dry. There's no paint there. That's all dry. That's pretty cool. All right, I'm going to go full throttle.
The guys want to know if you're going to hang your artwork on the refrigerator.
You know, I was thinking of. I know there's a couple people that have birthday presents. You know, birthday's coming up. I was just going to sign my name on some paper towels and mail it off to them.
Yeah.
My next whatever it is, 100 increment subscriber, I'll just put my name on some paper towels and mail them out. All right, I'm going to go full throttle. So I'm going to push the air down. I'm going to pull all the way back out to get as much paint as I can because I'm curious what happens when you put the wheels going here. You know what I mean?
John 26:18 says paint a tree.
Paint. All right, we're going to go full throttle for a tree. You see that?
Yeah. That's a fancy tree.
Kind of looks like a volcano. That ain't no tree.
Tom wants to know if you're going to auction off your work. I think so. Tom, you want to start the bidding?
Start the bidding. Now, who said that, John?
Tom.
Tom. Okay. I might if Tom wants to start counting, I'll auction something off. But if John starts counting, we could be here all night long.
It's a happy tray.
See, this is where your multiple colors comes in with multiple guns. All right, everybody. My first piece of artwork. It's a black tree. It's dead.
Heath wants to know if you're going to start an Etsy store.
An Etsy store. Air Trees by Rick. There you go. It's not the best artwork in the world, but I mean, hey, that's a tree.
Hey, you can paint paper towels for a side gig.
Whew.
Custom painted.
Yeah, dude, who needs a Teespring account? I can just make my own T-shirts right now.
Yeah.
All right, so I did that. How much paint do I have left here? Oh, not that much. I don't know if you can see that. The bottom there. I mean, I had this thing filled up about halfway, and I've only got a little tiny bit in the bottom. I don't want to spool that out.
Almost out, man.
Almost out. All right. I'm going to leave that in there because who knows. Now, I'm going to...
Sparky wants to know why your shirt's inside it.
Okay. All right. So I forgot to mention this. I actually did mean to mention this. So the last time I was live, a bunch of people had mentioned that I was wearing, or no, I'm sorry, not when I was live. When I was on Ray's live stream, Keith had mentioned, Rick, you're wearing a green shirt and it makes you look like a tree. So for this week, I figured since it was winter and there are no more leaves on the tree, I might as well go brown. But this particular shirt has a logo on it that I didn't want to be seen, so I put the shirt on inside out. There's your answer, Sparky. I'm sticking to it. All right. Let me see. Do we have blue? There you go. Navy blue.
John says, John 26 says, mix it a little thicker next time. Too thin.
Mix it a little thicker. All right. So
more color.
More color. Yeah. All right. So we're going to go. What did I do? I did 3 drops last time. This time I'm going to use the Siphon. So I'm going to go. We'll just double it. Oh, forgot to shake again. You know, I did buy one of those fancy dancy, mixer things.
Yeah.
I can't get it. Yeah.
That's more stuff to clean up, though.
That is more stuff to clean up. All right, so I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're going to go 10. I don't know if that's enough.
Yeah, maybe less.
We're going to go 10. And I'll put this back. I want to keep my paints organized here,
So Digger's saying clean the airbrush without delay where paint will clog.
That's a very good point.
And Ray says should stir, not shake. And that's because bubbles.
That makes total sense. That's
true with clear finishes. Don't shake, stir.
Oh, all right. So I got my handy
breaker.
I got my handy dandy little cleaning pot here, so I'm going to spray out what I have. All right, that's empty. And I got my cleaning fluid. I did make sure I get that.
It's got cleaning fluid.
I got cleaning fluid. You believe that? So I'm just going to put some in here. Oh, I learned this really cool trick that I saw online. There's a bunch of people that were doing it. Check this out, Jerry. If you hold the tip right here and you pull the just air, right? Just air. Look, it bubbles.
Nice. It's like a washer.
It is. Dude, I feel like I'm in a jacuzzi. Maybe I should have. Maybe I should have my bathing suit on.
That's like an N scale jacuzzi.
I'm telling you, Heath. You want to jump in?
Yo, Heath. There you go.
All right. So now I'm gonna dump that out.
So John Southern Railway, he says, in all possible seriousness, thank you, Rick. Many of us need to see this who have not airbrushed before, and it takes rocks to do this live. You're right, John. Making fun of Rick.
I appreciate that, my friend, because when I meant airbrushing with dummies, it was for a reason. And I'm being completely honest with you. I have until 20 minutes ago, I had never touched an airbrush. So hopefully that inspires some of you guys who have not done it to go ahead and do it. Because I mean, I've only made a tree and it's already become my rag. And I'm having fun with it already. So I'm just cleaning my cup out here. And check that out. Looks pretty clean.
Spotless.
Spotless. Well, maybe not spotless. I might take it apart later just to do some.
So Sparky says he will give you $10 if you hold your hand down like a turkey and spray it.
I'm not going to spray my hand.
Outline it. Like the kids used to do with a turkey. Yeah. Make it look like a turkey.
All right.
Sparky says he'll give you $10.
Sparky, maybe at the end. This way I can go upstairs and clean my hand. All right. So we're going to go back to blue. Got some water. And he said make it thicker. So I'm not sure.
I think he meant like more paint, not more like a wash. More color.
Oh, okay.
It's in the mail, Sparky. I think Rick's getting yelled at.
Hang on.
It's making too much noise. Kids are trying to sleep. You're right, Brian Page. What the mail is now, we'll never get there.
All right, sorry about that. My young one was crying for me. All right, so paint thicker. I don't know if that's thicker. Am I thicker?
I don't know. It looks like there's more color. You'll see when you spray it.
Find out.
Digger says, try making different thickness lines. Or different types.
Yeah, did I do that on? I don't know if I did that on the last
thin lines, thick lines.
Gotcha. Is that what they meant by thicker or thinner?
No. It was definitely.
No, he said paint. He said paint.
Yeah, more like it was turning out more like a wash. But I guess it's because you're on a paper towel. Paper towels just.
Yeah, that could be too. That could be too.
I don't know.
All right, so right off the bat, I can tell you this is not comfortable.
Yeah. Well, you got to get comfortable holding it.
Okay, so hang on. Let me go back to this one. Hang on. This one, when I was using this one, the way that this sits in your hand,
it's more like a pencil or a pen.
Yeah, it's more like a pencil. You can grip the airbrush, and I've got a firm, I got a good grip on, on the nozzle. This feels comfortable.
Right.
It's just like I'm writing.
Yeah.
But this one, the only way that I feel comfortable is if I hold the bottle, because I can't get my fingers in here.
Right.
So I have to hold the bottle. But then that puts my hand more forward, which means I actually have to reach back to get to the button.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm kind of holding this thing. I don't know what the right word is. I feel like it's like I'm I don't. It feels fragile. Like it's very uncomfortable, and I feel like I'm being. I don't know what the word is. I'm gonna get ridiculed for this one. It feels dainty. Like I'm like I should be holding this very fragilely. Like a very expensive pencil. This. I don't know. It just feels uncomfortable, but I'm gonna give it a shot.
John Schuylkill River says try using your thumb.
Thumb on the trigger? Oh, that's different. Good tip, John. Thank you. That is different.
There you go, John. That's why you guys are on the payroll.
All right, so yeah, that is definitely a different feeling than. All right, we're gonna go really wide here.
Well, these guys are pretty tough tonight, man.
That's all right. I can take it. All right, so maybe it's me. Maybe I shouldn't look down the barrel of the gun. I'm in the middle of painting, and it starts out.
Hold it down lower. Hold it down.
I lose paint. Like here, I got an okay line. This one I pulled back more, so it's a faded line. But then when I went for the third one down here, disregard the black dot. But right here, there's a little spot of blue, and I'm holding the gun and open, and I'm not getting anything. And I'm wondering if it's because they told me to do it thicker.
I don't know. Let's see what they say.
Yeah, see now, I'm not getting anything. Whoa, I am not. Okay, I had to turn the little dial back here, which makes this thing come back more.
Right.
To pull that needle. See, I'm learning. These things, how would I have known that? Now look, I got myself a big blue blob. All right, let's go back to paint. Here we go. We got air. We got paint. So I can do wide. Let's see if we can do. Oh, look at that, Jerry. I like that.
Nice.
All right, I'm gonna go crazy here for a minute, Jerry. You ready for this one?
Uh-oh. What do I hear for this one? $5? $5?
Look at that, brother.
Wow, man, that's a piece of work.
That's a piece of something, but I can't say that here.
That should get you like $20. You sign my name, Sparky. It's better. Sparky wants you to sign his name, your name. Rick.
It's me. All right. I'm having fun here with this one. So let's get another towel. Let's do another tree.
Santa Fe Bob says you're doing great. It takes practice.
Woo-hoo! Thanks, Bob. You know, John, the thumb thing wasn't really working for me, but if I do kind of hold it dainty, like I don't like it, I feel like I have more control with my finger than I do.
Yeah, I think Brian Page says that's why he doesn't like. He likes gravity-fed cups because it's just more natural feel.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I think
if you're doing big projects, maybe that.
That's what I was going to say. I'm glad you brought that up. I can see, like, I think my first real project is going to be painting my rail, getting my rail, the color of, rust or whatever. So I think I might use this because it has a larger capacity to hold paint. So I might use this for that. But when it comes to when I start like weathering cars and painting my buildings, I think I'm probably going to rely on the other one more than this one. But you never know. We'll see.
Digger says it's okay. He got his granddaughter an airbrush for Christmas. She had a little difficulty at first, but worked it out after a couple minutes. She's 7.
Digger, I'm going to pretend like you didn't say that, buddy, because we're such good friends.
Pretty rough, Digger.
That's awesome. That's awesome for her at 7. Then again, the developmental stage of little children are a lot more advanced than, guys of my age. Yeah. So it might take me, it took her 10 minutes, he said. It might take me 20.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, kids pick up stuff fast.
A hole in the tree. Here, look. You can tell I used a lot of paint there. It's coming through the other side.
John 26 says the cup's perfect for the rails. It's a great project to start with.
Good. See, I had a good thought. I should have kept my first tree. I don't know why I didn't. But, all right, so, here, you know what? Hang on. I'm going to go back. All right, I'm going to use this other side. I'm going to use what I can. All right, so the difference, I'm just thinking of some things that I could try. I'm going to go in real close, full throttle, and see what kind of line I get.
Oh, wait, man, I think you should go over there and get one of your engines and have at it.
No, I'm not going to go that far yet. Not yet. All right, so that's an up close. Then again, I mean, it is paper towel, so I'm guessing it's going to spread. But that's full throttle right there. And I'm going to go over here, and we're going to do full throttle again, but I'm going to stay back a little bit. And that would be like a coverall kind of swatch. And then I guess if I did the same thing, did just not a lot of paint, and go in real close, you get little lines like that. I'm enjoying this, man. Jerry, I think you need to come over. We could do like some dual and airbrushes here, man. This would be a cool little show to do, you know? You know what? That's actually, that would make for a really good challenge. Put up a picture and tell people, anybody who can airbrush, to make a copy of this picture, and let's, show everybody's airbrushing skills. Just copy the picture.
So what is that? Your challenge, Rick? To everybody?
No, I'm not doing any challenges.
No, not you personally, but to them out there.
That's really not railroad related. So no, I'm not going to do that challenge. I'm not going to do. And Lord
Neither
knows
is
I'm not going
mine.
to pick that region.
My challenge isn't railroad related, but so
Sure, it was. It was all about. It was all about cleaning up your railroad space. I could see your challenge. Your challenge was pretty good. I like that. I haven't done any of the challenges honestly. And it was so hard because well, your challenge would probably be the only one that I could do because I can't do Sparkies because I only have two cabooses.
that's okay. Ian only had two cabooses.
And I couldn't do who was the one that did, I think it was Vinny that did the consist one. I think I can't do a consist because none of my locomotives are all speed matched, so I didn't want to risk it and burn out any of my locomotives. So I didn't do it. I didn't do that one. The other one, I forget who did the first one, where it was see how many cars you can pull. Unfortunately, with one engine, I think it was. With mine, the way that my layout is set up, because almost every turn is either a tight turn or in an incline. Just doing one locomotive, I think I can only pull like 8 cars. So until I get this consist working, I really can't get a long train going.
That'd be embarrassing. Only 8 cars.
Yeah, I mean, I've already got enough not working out for me. So
you already got N scalers pulling 40 cars.
I know. I couldn't do that challenge. I really couldn't. I mean, that's just as bad as airbrushing, because I'm pretty sure I'm not doing the best that I could be right now. The Army, Marines, be the best you could be.
No tree building challenge, Steve. 87.
No tree building. I saw some.
He said you could do one. But.
Oh, I could do one. Well, Sparky already showed us how to build some trees. So I think I'll leave that. I'll leave that to Sparky. Sparky had his fun. So, what do you think? Anything? Anything I didn't?
Can you see chat now? Can you see chat now?
No, I still can't see chat. It's not populating on the side. I would have to go into YouTube and pull it up. I can do that, but I wouldn't. I still won't be able to highlight anyone, which kind of sucks because that's like the big thing about streaming. But I can go. I can go in here. I'm going to mute myself real quick because that's. Come on. You might get feedback in a minute.
Steve 87 says good night. He's got to eat dinner, and you did a good job.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
You can pop
Page
chat.
Unresponsive. Yeah. Page. Of course, now that's not working. Something broke.
Oh, you did pretty good for an hour.
Yeah, I mean, I think I got I got broken into it pretty well. So I mean, I got a feel for. Oh, there we go. I got a feel for both guns. I was able to get some things painted. I mean, I certainly am not going to auction these guys off, but
Digger's leaving. Digger says it's 2 a.m. Did a good job. Good night.
Digger, thank you for hanging in there, buddy. I appreciate it. Your opinion means a lot to me, and I'm glad I was able to take some advice and learn something. So thank you. Appreciate it much.
And congrats to Digger. He hit 1,000 today.
Oh yeah, congrats, Digger. Awesome. Yes, Digger. All right, let me flip this over to live chat.
Yeah, so I don't think airbrushing is very hard. Do you, Rick?
I don't, and I'm not sure why I was so intimidated to try it. But no, it doesn't seem that hard at all. So I'm glad I was able to get it started and learn something. So that was awesome, and I'm glad you guys were there with me, because your feedback is exactly what I need, because again, I've never touched an airbrush before. So, having that ability to do something and then immediately get feedback from you guys is awesome, because otherwise I would be sitting here by myself thinking that I'm doing the right thing, and I wouldn't be. So I appreciate that much, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to come on here, because again, I don't know what I'm doing. So to learn from people who do, I mean, that's the greatest thing about YouTube. We learn from each other.
So the paint might come out nicer with the right thinner, and you didn't know that. I didn't know that. I thought water would be fine, right?
Same here. Same here. Yeah. Inked Rails has a good suggestion. Once you start building kits, save the extra pieces to use for practice when you paint. I like that. That's an awesome tip. It's an awesome tip. So all those little extra like sprues and the pieces that you don't use, because there's always extra. That's an awesome tip. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it.
For sure.
Good job, Rick. Practice, practice, practice. Learn what the airbrush can do and what it cannot do. Thinner is the best. I started on plastic models. I think I don't think I'll ever get into anything metal or die cast or anything like that. So, that's actually a very good point, Brian. I'm glad you brought that up, because my question would be, do different paints react in different ways depending on what material that you're spraying? For example, if you have, let's say, my son is real big in Hot Wheel cars right now. That's like his favorite thing. He's 2.5 years old, and he loves Hot Wheel cars. If I were to take one of his Hot Wheel cars that are die-cast metal, and I were to spray paint it or airbrush paint over it to change its color, how is that any different from spraying something that's plastic? I got a better idea. Is there anybody in chat who wants to come up on panel? Because Jerry and I talking to ourselves is
we don't know nothing.
Well, it's nice, we don't know nothing. I can post a comment. I just can't see them. All right, I'm going to.
Where's that Heath? He knows a lot.
Heath. Here, I will put it in there. Here's the link. If you want to join us on StreamYard.
Yeah, what do you? I don't know anything.
Jerry knows everything. He's just not telling. There you go, Jerry.
One of you guys come on up here that knows about this
stuff. So Jerry, what do you think of the booth?
I think that booth is pretty sweet for $125-$26.
I think so too.
Because like I said, I saw them on like MicroMart, and they were like $300 or $400. I'm like, forget that. I ain't buying one of them things. They're too small.
Yeah.
For that kind of money. I think that maybe they were different. I don't know, but that seems like a pretty good deal. Especially because you're getting that big hose, that big ducking.
Yeah.
That's some big stuff.
It's cool. These side panels, they clip off. So if you got a second one and you put it right next to it, you can remove those side panels and make it even longer. So you can take your 16.5 inches to a 32-inch spray booth, and you could do things like models of airplanes or submarines or, whatever at that point that you want to paint.
Carolina Foothills says practice on plastic spoons.
Yeah, I did see. I can't remember who it was, but there was a guy that's got an airbrush model channel, and I was watching a whole bunch of his videos, and that's what he does. He preps and paints on spoons.
All right.
Oh, looks like Anthony's heading out. Anthony, thanks for stopping in, bud. Oh, you know what I didn't do? In the beginning of the video, I didn't get a chance to say hi to everybody. I jumped right into it and started painting and explaining everything, and I never said hi to everybody in chat. Other than saying hi, I didn't.
Well, it's a good thing, Rick. You'd still be saying hi, and we'd be waiting for you to be painting.
I might be. Barnabas Rex. Okay. I use plastic spoons to paint match, color change on curves and light. Oh, that's a good point, John.
I've seen you do that, John. That's a pretty good idea, too.
Yeah. Tom says start over. All right. So welcome everybody to the chat. Welcome to YouTube. I want to say hello to everybody. Oh, here comes Brian. Brian, well, hang on. Brian's in the basement here. Let me bring him up. Here we are. Brian, my friend, how are you?
Hey, Brian.
All right, bud. So what do you think? How did I do?
You did great. That's a great first step.
That's right. It's a great first step. Yeah, so I'm learning how to control, the spray, and I see that this thing can do a lot of different things, which is pretty cool. So I could definitely see myself doing a lot of weathering with this thing. I can see, the buildings are going to start look the buildings will hopefully look great. I'm not going to say that I'll never pick up a regular brush again, because you still need to do stuff with brushes, but airbrush seems like a quick and easy way to get something done.
Oh, absolutely. And you can use it to weather tracks, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
So Brian, do you just use acrylics and that's it?
That's it.
Okay.
I put some enamel in my airbrush one time, and I've regretted it ever since.
Oh, okay. Wow. Now, I'm glad
it's a mess to clean.
I'm glad you brought up enamels, because correct me if I'm wrong, maybe you know, maybe you don't, but enamel paints are flammable. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we touched on this before in the last stream that I did. If you're going to make a home booth, just keep in mind that what you're spraying coming out of that gun, if it makes it through that fabric and it gets to your fan, an enamel paint can ignite and cause a fire. So it all depends on what you're spraying and how you're using it. You definitely want to do it the safest way possible. That's why I really wanted to stick with acrylics, because I don't believe acrylics are flammable.
Yeah, acrylics for me is just easier to work with. The fan in your paint booth should be sealed, so you should be okay on that, but you definitely want to vent it out the window if you're going to do enamel or lacquer.
Awesome.
And I would advise also with the Hot Wheels, it would be like painting a real car, so probably enamel or lacquer.
Oh, gotcha. So you will see a difference depending on what you're painting and how you're painting it.
Yeah, the acrylic is not going to work real well on metal.
Okay, that's good to know. Randall says, "Hey Rick, did you hear the huge news from the virtual model railroad show today concerning scale trains and MTH?" I did not get a chance to look at the virtual model railroad show today, so no, I don't know the huge news. Please fill us in. I'm not sure how many of the other viewers got a chance to see it either.
So I got a question, John.
Big takeover, I heard.
John 2618. I know you do some die cast and some of your little projects. What paint do you use for that? Do you do that, Brian? Have you ever did die cast models like
No, I haven't.
kits for the layout? No. Okay.
John said you'll get a nice afterburn out the back of your booth. I guess if you use something flammable. That makes sense. I use Tamiya primer over metal.
Okay. So what is that, like a lacquer paint?
I guess it could be. Tamiya makes a lot of different stuff. They are huge when it comes to paints. Hey, Brian, did you ever hear that thing about what I said earlier with the primer paints going all wacky in cold weather? Were you in here for that one?
Well, it's been my experience so far that in colder weather, any kind of paint is going to be harder to do.
Okay. So the comment that I had made, and I was looking, so this past weekend, I went out and I was trying to find some primer and some kind of thinner, and I couldn't find those. And I tried 3 different stores, and no one had anything that was specific to airbrushing. So I started looking on Amazon this morning. Actually, it was yesterday because I wanted to see if I could get it overnighted. I forget what the brand was, but I saw someone said, or the manufacturer said, don't purchase this item because if it ships through a location where the temperature goes down close to freezing, it will affect the paint and it will be basically useless when you get it.
Yeah, that could happen. Although with thinners, I wouldn't think that they would be subject to freezing.
No, I'm sorry. You're absolutely right. I'm sorry. I was speaking just about the primer. The primer is what I was looking at.
Okay.
And that was a comment on the primer. And I would imagine. I mean, I'm up in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania right now, and we're getting some snow coming down. So it probably would not have been a good idea to purchase overnight. Because that would have been money lost.
Yeah, that could happen. You'd have to take it in the house and let it warm up.
Well, they even said that even if you warm it up, they said it changes the molecular structure of the paint, and it's basically unusable at that point.
That could happen.
Glue does the same thing. Like if glue freezes, it's no good after a while. Like wood glue.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought of that, but that's a good point. That's a good point too.
Right. I don't know if this is pointed the right way, but yeah. Okay.
Yeah, sure is.
Aztec acrylic thinner.
Okay.
It's made by Testers. Whoops. Okay.
I think if you block your face, it'll focus on the bottle.
Yeah.
The camera looking for your face, and that's what it focuses on.
Yeah.
There you go. Bottle master.
Yeah.
Test, right?
Testers Aztec. It's the only reason I use it is I can find it at Hobby Lobby all the time. So.
Yeah, the closest. Actually, I used to have a store not too far from here called Hobby Town, but they closed. The closest Hobby Lobby I got to go over the bridge into New Jersey.
Hobby Town out here has they don't stock very well, so
okay.
I'm out here in Texas, so
okay, gotcha. Dwight Curley says he only uses True Color paints. What brand and price range is your airbrush? Okay, so Mystic. When I got my wife bought me the compressor kit. And it came with the compressor, it came with a hose, and it came with the gravity-fed airbrush. That's all that was in the box. I went out because I wanted to also try the siphon-fed one. I purchased this separately, and I can't remember off the top of my head. I believe this was $39.99. And this came with this particular one that I bought came with a couple different nozzles, a couple different sizes of needles, and I believe I got the hose with it also. So that was it for, I can't remember. I want to say it was either $29 or $39.
So what's the deal? Go ahead.
I was just going to say, this is the first time that I've used it, and I kind of got the hang of it after a while. So it's just going to take practice.
So what's the deal with all the different size needles? And I know why you have them, but is there a chart that tells you what paints you use this type of needle for, and so on and so forth?
That's a good question. Brian, do you know that one?
I can only speak for acrylics. I think with acrylics, you can use any size nozzle. It just depends on what you're painting.
Right.
I tend to paint small items, so I have a 0.2 millimeter nozzle.
Okay.
But if you were going to do something large, you could go with a bigger one.
So when I believe I have to check the documentation, but I believe when I bought this one, it came with a 0.02 needle, a 0.05, which is installed, and then there's also a 0.08. Those are the three it came with.
Yeah. With a 0.05, I mean, you can just keep the airbrush closer to the project, and you'll get a fine line.
Okay. Good. So so what is the benefits of having different size needles? I mean, what is the true purpose of it?
Like I said, in my experience, it's only having to do with how big of an item that you're painting.
Okay.
I use a 0.2 millimeter nozzle for everything. So
okay.
If I want to cover more area, I just back up.
Gotcha.
But the smaller nozzle size and keeping my pressure around 12 to somewhere between 12 and 20 psi, that cuts down on the overspray and comes out nicer, smoother.
Awesome. So I'm guessing if you had a real thin paint, it would make more sense to use a thinner needle rather than something with a thicker paint. You would need maybe a larger needle with a larger nozzle in order to get that paint through.
Well, I think with the thinner paint, it doesn't really have to do so much with the nozzle size as it does with your pressure.
Okay.
So if you had a really thin paint, I would go lower on the pressure.
Gotcha. Looks like John's heading out. Thanks, John. I appreciate you stopping by, buddy. Have a good night. So is there anything that I didn't touch on tonight, Brian, that you think that maybe I should have mentioned, or maybe something that I should have demonstrated, or I should try out for myself, as I go forward in practice?
Not really. I mean, you did everything that I did when I started out.
Okay.
What I watched a lot of plastic model builders when I started, and what I really concentrated on when starting was finding where the point is when you push down the trigger and then start pulling it back for the paint. I learned where the point was with that trigger, where the paint started coming out.
Okay.
And once you have that, you start building muscle memory or brain memory, and you start remembering where that paint starts, and then you can get a lot faster.
Oh, okay. That's something to keep in mind. Anthony Dodge is heading out. Anthony, thank you for stopping by, buddy. I appreciate it.
But the more you do it, it's going to get easier.
Sounds good. Now, do you? I know you showed us some spraying last 2 weeks ago when you were up here with us.
Right.
Do you have a booth, or do you just use a special room in the house, the garage maybe, where you do your spraying?
Everything I do is out in the garage. I just open the door.
Gotcha. And that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, with a 0.2 millimeter nozzle and keeping the pressure low, I don't even smell the paint.
Okay. That's another good point. I don't necessarily remember if I smelled the paint other than when I was mixing it, obviously, because it was right here. But while this thing was on, I can't say that I smelled it. That's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, with a small nozzle, you're not getting very much overspray. So, but if you have the safety equipment, I definitely recommend using it.
Yeah. And I'm just now looking at, the back of this thing, because, I've been standing here spraying for, the last hour. I don't see any overspray or actually, no, I'm wrong because I've just pulled it out. So it looks like there is some spray. You can see the line there. So the filter did capture some.
Right.
But it doesn't look like it's much though. Like it's only that bottom section. The rest of this is definitely blue. And I'm guessing that's because I was spraying directly down at the bottom where it was going through. But you definitely know the airflow was working because it did its thing.
Yeah, with acrylic paint and 20 psi, I mean, you're really not sending out that much.
Gotcha. Now I gotta fix this thing back up. Well, I guess I could show everyone how this thing goes back together. Close it up. That would be something to show.
Yeah, I can't imagine like there's that much paint. As there's more thinner than paint. So
right, and the acrylic thinner is not really that dangerous. I mean, you wouldn't want to breathe a lot of it, but it's not that bad.
Yeah. I wonder what's different about the acrylic thinner than water.
Well, it's different. It's based on a different substance rather than, let's say, mineral spirits.
Right.
So it's not as much petroleum base, I guess I would say.
Gotcha.
Have you heard of anyone using mineral spirits as a thinner option?
Yeah, well, not necessarily as thinner, but certainly for cleanup with enamels and lacquers.
Okay.
Yeah, if you do any enamel or lacquer painting, I mean, you're going to want to be a little more safety conscious.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and it sounds like those things are more of a pain to clean up after.
Excuse me.
Cleaning your gun and things like that.
Well,
now, if I'm doing any enamel or lacquer, I use one of these.
Right. With charcoal inserts. Hey, Dwight, are you still here? What the guys that use True Color, is that an acrylic?
I'm not sure what that is. Do I have any of that?
That thing folds up nice. It's a nice booth for the money.
Real small and compact. I like it.
Yeah, it was a good buy, good purchase.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the True Color. I don't think I have any here.
So True Color is an acetone based, John 26:18 said. And that's like a solvent?
Yeah.
What's the cleanup with that? Like paint thinner?
Yeah, you'd have to use paint thinner, mineral spirits, denatured alcohol, something like that.
The thinner is acetone. I guess that's like lacquer thinner, sort of. I guess I don't know. It's not good for you. You definitely want to wear a mask with it, probably.
Yeah, I would.
And you can hang them up on the refrigerator.
There you go.
In the basement.
2 works of art. Cool. All right, so we have been at this for an hour and a half. I don't think I've got anything more to show. And Brian was our only taker for coming up on panel, and I appreciate that, Bud. I appreciate your input as a modeler and a user of this equipment. Your knowledge is gonna help me. Don't be surprised if I start emailing you with
no problem.
But I think at this point on, I'm just going to go and practice. And Brian, other than paper towels, obviously plastic models also. But someone had mentioned spoons. People practice on spoons. Is there any other type of canvas that you would suggest using as practice material?
No, I just use 8.5 by 11 sheets of paper.
Okay. So paper, spoons,
or
paper
a
towel.
big piece of cardboard.
Cardboard's also a good option. Cool. Sounds good.
No, you did great, Rick. You did great. If I could give you 2 thumbs up, I would.
I appreciate that so much. I do. So hopefully we've got a project, something that I could do a video on in the future, and get something out there. Start practicing on some cars, or who knows? I'll get one of the buildings that I've yet to build yet, and start on that. There's one more question. So when building a building, do you paint before gluing, or glue it all together and then paint?
Well, I have one that I'm working on right now, where I'm planning on sticking an LED on the inside. So I painted the inside of the walls black, and I was going to tape off the corners where I glue it, because the glue will eat up the paint and not stick to the plastic. So, but when it came down to it, I decided to just scrape the areas where I'm going to glue the walls together.
Gotcha.
So yeah, if you can avoid putting the paint where the glue is going to go, that would be great.
Gotcha. Sounds good. It's a good tip. All right. I think I'm going to cut it for the night. I appreciate everybody in chat and everybody hanging out. Jerry, thank you so much for moderating and keeping me in tune with the guys over there. There you go. And Brian, thank you for jumping up and giving me all the information, bud. I so much appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Guys, have a good one, and I'll see you down in the comments. Take it easy, everyone.
See ya. Good night, guys.